All right, we're going to give you a player today that we think can single-handedly drastically improve your chances of winning your Dynasty League. Do you want to win your Dynasty League? Stick around. You should be drafting and trading for this player absolutely everywhere in Dynasty, so make sure you're doing that after this video. A couple things first. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the video as well. It helps the algorithm. It's free. You really support us when you do that, and we really, really do appreciate that. Make sure you're going to subscribe to the Fantasy domain. That channel is linked in the video description. It's where we're going to spend a lot of time here. We're going to start transitioning to Fantasy domain as we get closer to the season and in the season. So make sure you're subscribed there if you want to continue to get content from us. Make sure you go check out the merch that's in the shop now. Make sure you check out our YouTube memberships, and we're doing team grading videos for people who are in the domain S tier. We're also giving out our rankings, ADP data, all the exclusive access in that top tier, so make sure you do that as well. Check out Fozzie Football. Code domain will get you a discount there. And today, like I said, we're talking about the one player that we think could, single-handedly improve your chances of winning a Dynasty League, maybe twofold. And is that a ton? No. I mean, you go into, a Dynasty season having less than a 15-20% chance to win. That being said, if you had a 5% chance to win, you had this guy, I'd say you got a 10% chance. I am that confident. This is a guy that, although he is producing at insane levels, and when I'm talking about like producing at an insane level, I'm not saying he's at Tony Pollard and producing at 15 points per game and everybody's just freaking out about him. No, I'm talking about a guy that when you're talking about his production in fantasy football, historically, this year, last year, before he switched teams, last year, 20.4 points per game. That's significant.
Slightly
significant. Like league-altering. And then you're getting him super cheap because he says he's going to retire after 3 years. You're talking about Tyreek Hill. And with Tyreek Hill, you have now an excellent buy low opportunity. And it's not the first time either. You look at Tyreek Hill and his historical ADP, and last year he was going at the wide receiver 13. And what did we say when he was going at the wide receiver 13? Insert video clip.
Why is he ranked wide receiver 13 in Dynasty right now?
Why do people, here's a better question, why do people think he's not going to be a wide receiver 1 this year? But do you really think that they are going to pay Tyreek Hill $30 million a year to come in and play second fiddle to a second-year wide receiver in Jalen Waddle? You are out of your mind. Do you think Mike McDaniel is not going to use the tar out of Tyreek Hill? As you can see, we were on that. We definitely saw that Tyreek Hill was a good value. He was being shorted and that he was going to help you win your championships. And people who bought Tyreek Hill at that price point, it really paid off for him, and he maintained his value this year. Like, he's back in the same spot. The problem is he shouldn't be. I don't understand what the deal is with Tyreek Hill. I mean, talk about why the 2025 retirement is not a reason to be shorting Tyreek Hill.
Well, for one, we play Dynasty Fantasy Football. We should be playing Dynasty Fantasy Football in 3-year windows. The success of your team, the development of your team should take no longer than 3 total years. And then you kind of reset every single time that happens. A new generation begins, a new lifetime begins for your league, a new lifetime for your roster, its development or its decline. So Tyreek Hill retiring in 3 years means he has an entire lifetime of dynasty value left, which means he should not be decreasing in value this year. When he says 3 years ahead of time that I'm probably going to retire in 2025. We don't even know if that's actually going to happen. Do you know how far 2025 is from now?
3 seasons.
Do you understand how far I don't think you do. You can say 3 seasons, you can say 3 years. Tell me what you were doing 3 years ago. Who were some of the most valuable assets in Dynasty 3 years ago? Just listen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was going in the first round of Dynasty startups 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a long, long time ago.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook was going in the top 2 rounds. He just signed his big freaking
Jalen
contract.
Reagor was being drafted over Justin Jefferson in rookie drafts 3 years ago. Do you know how long ago that was? A long time ago. The point is,
it's fair.
Don't be shorting Tyreek Hill because of the fact that he's going to retire in
3
years.
full seasons. And not to mention, is he 28 right now?
He's 29. He just turned 29, I believe. Yeah.
Did you see him play last year? Did you watch the Dolphins? I mean, we're talking about a guy when you look at Keep Trade Cut, which is completely butt. Drake London, who averaged 11 points, and we love Drake London. Drake London, who averaged 11 points per game, 10 points per game. T. Higgins, who averaged 13 points per game. Or when you take away that one game, 14 points per game. Or when you take away all the games, why would you take away T. Higgins? Should not. He's the wide receiver 2 on his team. Devonta Smith, the wide receiver 2 on his team. Jalen Waddle is the wide receiver 6. He is miles ahead of Tyreek Hill from a value standpoint on keep, trade, cut. And for what reason, guys? Because
he's going to be more valuable than Tyreek Hill
if you're
a lifetime from now.
So look, if the only way you can defend against this is if you're playing Dynasty in 5-year windows, 6-year windows, so you can say that. But that's not a good strategy. If you're playing Dynasty in a 5, 6, 7-year window, you're never going to win. First of all, you're not good enough to project that far out to win championships that far. But not only that, the time to win a Dynasty championship is now. And you have 3 solid shots if you have Tyreek Hill on your team. But, I just do not understand why, if we are really playing in 3-year windows, who are we taking over the next 3 years? Tyreek Hill, Drake London, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, or Jalen Waddle? It is absolutely freaking no question. Again, 20 points per game last year. Remember last year when everybody said he wouldn't do anything without Mahomes? That worked out real well.
When everyone said he wasn't going to do anything with Jalen Waddle in the same offense, people are saying it again. Again! When you already saw an entire season of them playing together, what do you think's going to happen again? It's not going to matter. Tyreek Hill is the wide receiver 1 in that offense.
And he's going to continue to be. And like I said, he's going to continue to win you Dynasty championships. Tyreek Hill, probably my most owned player in Dynasty leagues right now. Why? Because everybody was out on him as soon as he said he was retiring 3 years from now. I cannot talk about this without getting upset. Seriously, retirement is not an issue to be shorting Tyreek Hill. Production, not an issue. Quarterback play, wasn't an issue. Jalen Waddle, wasn't an issue.
Not an issue. There is, in Dynasty, an understandable reason for why there should always be a gap between what they're ranked in fantasy versus what they're ranked in Dynasty. However, Tyreek Hill being ranked wide receiver 3 on Underdog, that's best ball, that's fantasy, real money leagues, the difference between him being ranked wide receiver 3 versus wide receiver 13 in Dynasty is far, far too great of a gap. That's unacceptable. The fact that a wide receiver who will win you leagues for at least the next 3 seasons is going that much further in Dynasty.
Don't even say injury. Don't
say that. Oh, he's poised for an injury. The way he plays, he's going to get injured at some point.
Don't say he's approaching his cliff. We're talking about one of the best wide receivers, not even fantasy wide receivers, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL over his career. He has been completely elite. He has been all over the place. He is athletic. He is fast. He would just completely
Hall of Fame.
Legitimately. And now you're going to trade him away because you're going to project him to get injured because he's 29. He is not. He is. When you see these one of a kind players, a lot of times what you have is these guys lasting longer than what an ordinary player would last.
And guess who reaps the benefit of that? Contenders who bite on the proven value and the proven production, and they're the ones that win the Dynasty championships, not you.
You know what?
Who are trying to sell Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is a guy, in our opinion, he should be dying on your roster. In 3 years, if he does retire, you should be proud to be holding him.
Yep.
And you should have 2 to 3 Dynasty championships on your team at that point. And you can thank Tyreek Hill for that as you send him off. Because you know freaking what? 3 years of production from Tyreek Hill is worth more than anything you're getting for him in a trade. Look at the value adjacent players, Tim. I just mentioned them. Would I rather have 2, even 1 out of 3 championships, or would I rather have Drake London? I'll take a championship. T. Higgins. I'll take 0 championships over T. Higgins, but you can get 1. I'll take 1. Devonta Smith. I'll take a championship. I'll maybe take 2. And if you have Tyreek Hill, you have a shot. And we've seen this. Tyreek has been a fantasy game breaker, a fantasy league winner for years now. And the fact that we think this is going to change is just ridiculous. And Waddle, again, Jalen Waddle is one of the biggest arguments for this. Tyreek Hill, like Nathan said, people thought Waddle was going to be the wide receiver 1 in that offense this year, which was hilarious. Not only that, but they thought that they were going to hurt each other. Jalen Waddle, without Jalen Waddle in that offense, I think Tyreek Hill's not scoring as many points. Jalen Waddle helps Tyreek Hill. You don't understand what it's like to have two receivers that speedy on.
It's dang near impossible for a defense to cover those guys. Like, they can't.
So you're talking about the fit with Jalen Waddle. You're talking about maybe that potentially being a concern for Tyreek Hill. Let's look at last year. I mean, Jalen Waddle was the one that took the hit. And he still had a great season. I'm not saying he
doubled
went down,
his yards per reception.
but he doubled. I mean, because he was being more used as a bigger play guy. He was more boom or bust when you're talking about week to week fantasy production. And that is so. If anything, Tyreek Hill's hurting Jalen Waddle, not the other way around. So why, when you're comparing their wide receiver value, why is Jalen Waddle the wide receiver 6 and Tyreek Hill the wide receiver 13? You're talking about drafting a guy that's going to be a top 3 wide receiver production-wise for the next 3 years outside of the top 12 wide receivers in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Because why? For why? Because we care so much more about having the cool young player. We care so much more about having the sexy name players. The Drake London. Oh, man. The T. Higgins. Man, T. Higgins has been the sexy name in Dynasty for years now, and I'm freaking done with it. I don't care about having T. Higgins scoring 13, 14 points per game on my team. I want Tyreek Hill. I want the guy that's going to win me Dynasty. I want to win money. Like, is that not... As much as I want to piddle around for 3 years while I just add random guys that have good young names that are under 23, that are promising futures, that have a ton of potential. You know what potential doesn't mean? You haven't done crap. And some of these guys have done something. So I'm not saying that about these guys. But with Tyreek Hill, win championships, win money. Complicated, but not really. At all. It's so much easier than what we make it out to be. I mean, let's look at Tyreek Hill's... If you want to pull this up, you can go through this as well. But when you're talking about Tyreek Hill's player profiler, Tyreek Hill's putting up numbers that are next to best in the league. I mean, he's not slowing down. Listen to these numbers.
Number 1 in the NFL in target rate at 33.6%.
Targets are earned.
Number 2 in target share, 31.6.
Targets
Number 3 in targets, 170.
10 per game.
Number 1 in deep targets with 36. That is big play ability. Number 2 in air yards, 2,080. Number 4 in air yards share, 40%. Number 2 in receiving yards. 2nd in receptions. 5th in yards after the catch. 4th in unrealized air yards. 4th in total touchdowns. 3rd in fantasy points per game. 1st in yards per route run. 1st in formation adjusted yards per route run. You can just continue with as many stats as you want. 1st in yards per team pass attempt. Top 12 in dang near everything. Number 1 in fantasy points per route run.
Target rate per man. Number 3, win rate versus man. Number 8,
every possible
total route
efficiency
wins. Number
metric.
4.
Every possible efficiency metric, he is dominant.
Not to mention 100th in the league in target quality rate. Doing all of this on the 100th best target quality rate in the entire NFL. So even if Tua gets a slight bit better, you're talking about Tyreek Hill potentially improving on what his production was last year. Tyreek Hill looked like he was going to break the receiving record at the beginning of last year. And yeah, he slowed down a little bit, but look at it. I mean, he had 1,700 yards. He had 120 receptions and 7 touchdowns. He had 2,000 air yards. Guys,
catchable target rate was 100th as well. 44% catchable target rate.
If you're new
and
to
he
Dynasty,
still was
a mistake,
unreal.
A common mistake is people always want to play for the future, and they end up getting in what people like to oversay is a perpetual rebuild.
It's a terrifying thing. I have nightmares about that.
Like, why don't we just win this year and next year?
I understand seeing yourself develop a roster from the ground up, from development to future success is really exciting, and you always want to see some growth and development, but that doesn't mean you just continually ship off assets that become old, which is apparently after 26
and again,
in Dynasty for wide receivers.
I will say this every single video if I have to. If everybody is trying to get out a year early, then you're not actually getting out a year early.
Yeah, then you should be buying into that.
That's what's happening with Tyreek Hill, except it's 3 years early, which makes absolutely no sense.
No sense.
I will die on this hill. Pun intended. I will die on this hill. This Tyreek Hill. And like I said, you saw the video of us saying this 8 months ago, before the season. we're going to be right again. You're going to have to live with that. Don't rebuild. Don't enter a perpetual rebuild. Don't buy the sexy players. Don't buy the young players. Don't buy Tyreek Hill. Win your championships. We promise it will increase your odds. We say that, and then Tyreek Hill's like not going to play or something, and we're going to come back on this video and be like, oh, man. But, again, we're not going to predict injury. If you're trying to short a player or fade a player's immediate impact because of potential injury, like people did with Debo, that's stupid. So that's why people lost out on that Debo season too. All right. Tyreek Hill, you should be trading for him. We probably should mention real quick what you can be giving up to go get Tyreek Hill. I think you have seen you can trade Jalen Waddle for Tyreek Hill plus, Devonta Smith for Tyreek Hill plus, T. Higgins for Tyreek Hill plus, Drake London for Tyreek Hill plus, Breece Hall, a guy that's probably not going to produce a ton, Tyreek Hill plus, right? Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave probably, Tyreek Hill plus, and I love Garrett Wilson. But if I can get Tyreek Hill in a 24 first, why on earth would I not be doing that?
Yep.
Those are some kind of trades you can make. So go acquire Tyreek Hill in your leagues. He will help you win your Dynasty leagues. We love Tyreek Hill. We love winning Dynasty, and we love winning money in Dynasty. It's super fun. Super fun to beat your league mates. You want to do that? This is going to help you do it. All right. Make sure you're subscribed to Dynasty Domain, other way, and Fantasy Domain. Make sure you are checking out Fozzie Football using our code Domain. Super fun game. If you like paper football like you grew up with like I did, this is a whole new take. It is so much fun. It's a really good tailgating game, so make sure you check that out as well. Check out our merch, which is in our shop online. I can never do the backwards thing. I'm looking at that.
I know. Yeah.
The merch is in the shop, so check that out. And also, if you want your team graded on our YouTube channel, make sure you check out our memberships and join the Domain S tier. Get all kinds of access to everything we have. But most important thing, subscribe to Fantasy Domain. We're going to be over there very soon. We're already putting out videos there. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.